It's a culmination of everything. It's the oldest art that's ever existed. It started at the beginning of air. When air began to exist, music started to exist, and ever since then we've been trying to recreate our favorite sounds in different ways, the things that made us feel certain things. When you hear music or you feel music, you feel it first, and then the realization of it comes out in its different ways. If you hear sounds, or if you can feel sounds or recognize sounds, then music means everything, I feel like. But I'm a musician, so. When I'm on stage, it's not as raw. It's raw and refined together. I call it the omni-self. It's almost like you are standing behind yourself, pushing yourself onto the front of the stage. I feel powerful in a way that I wouldn't feel in regular life. And even when I'm street performing, it doesn't feel that way. When I'm on stage, it's like unfurling wings, almost. Yeah, it's a beautiful experience, and it comes through my entire self and falls through the music around me and then comes back up. It's almost like breathing in and out. It's an amazing thing. I would say I have various music educations. I mean, the first one I would think is the one where like I started playing in school, which was about the 6th grade, and I only started playing music because I didn't want to take PE, so I was one of those kids, and it really like caught me in a lot of ways. I just couldn't stop doing it. And I feel like I had another formal education that I didn't know was formal, because we've been in church my entire life. And so honestly, I started listening to and being a part of music before I can remember, because every Sunday, every Tuesday, every Friday, there was a choir that sang these new songs and old songs and just let the spirit of the music and the spirit of everything take them in so many different directions. I feel like I learned to feel music before I learned to recognize it. And I was in marching band up through high school. That's when I started playing the saxophone. And then I went up to college, and that was where my education got a little bit too educational for me. I felt like the more I learned, the less I felt. I felt like it was in a way making me a worse musician because of where I got my music and where I got my understanding of it. And so I just kind of slacked off until Katrina showed up, and then I left school because Katrina, I just couldn't get back in after that. The first instrument that I played when I was in the 6th grade was the clarinet. And it was not in great shape. It was like all the parts that were supposed to have corks had nothing because it was so old. And so I had to use Scotch tape to put those pieces together, and it did not sound good. But like I said, I couldn't stop practicing it. I always wanted to make more music. Ever since I started to have the ability, just the ability to put it together, it just meant so much to me. It was a piece of my life I didn't know I was missing. Practice is a strange, or like as far as like direct practice, especially the way that I used to do it in school, I don't really do that anymore. I'm a street musician most of the time. I feel like when I'm out in the street and I'm playing these songs and feeling them and thinking about different ways that I can play them, like this becomes my mode of practicing, like the listening of music, the feeling of music, seeing the differences in things that you've played before and how they could be different and how they change based on how you feel every day. Those are lessons that like I learn every day. And in that, I can't really say that I'm a person who doesn't practice. If I can find a place and who's playing in what area, I like to find a nice like quiet place with echoes. If you hear soothing, I call it cry in your beer music. If you hear like soothing cry in your beer, like movie music echoing through nowhere and you have no idea where it's come from, it's probably coming from me. As far as making music, my favorite part is the coincidences, like hearing things come together, hearing how everything collides in its own perfect ways, seeing a person just kind of tweak a couple of things and how it changes the entire feel of the music. My favorite thing about music is that it is art over time. It's like creating a canvas, but there can only be one part of it that you notice at any given moment. Music's always gonna take the same amount of time to experience because you can only listen to one thing at a time, and you put them together in your mind. It's like a convergence of memory and sense together that makes you feel what a song is in the first place. And to create that out of nothing, it's like painting with reality, you know. The first thing I really remember is theme music from like childhood cartoons, for sure. And I should have known back then that I would be so into music because I could remember those things so well. Like they would just ring in my mind all the time. And I remember a time where I was in choir, a church choir, and my brothers were in it because they had to be in it too. And I'm listening to it go, and I'm just bouncing back and forth. I'm like, didn't you feel that? And my brother's like, no, you can't feel it. Just calm down. And it's like I mean, it's a thing that I expected everybody. Like I figured because I felt it so strongly, everybody has to feel it. Of course they do, but it's just a thing that's always like it's pierced through my reality in a way that I didn't realize until I started playing music myself. Maybe The Call of a Peacock. It's a great one. And that's a great one. I've liked peacocks for a good long time, and then the call they make, just that like, just that like, and the way it like pierces over everything, and it's I don't know. When people would talk, I would see captions. And it made me a very good speller. I could spell anything that anyone would say because I would see the words like right at the bottom of my vision. And when I started playing music, that went away. And what it was replaced with was this sense of landscape. Like if I hear a song or if I hear things together, if I hear these things being put together, I can see this landscape that's being created by the way the sound is, by what the sound is exhibiting. And if I do like, if I'm doing solos, or if I'm listening, or if I'm playing music in the French Quarter, or if I'm anything involving music, I can see a lot of times I like to close my eyes and visually move across the realms of the music that I'm playing. And it makes it really easy to play with others because it's easy to get out of the way when you can literally see someone and you can see their path and you can just like step to the side really. And I do that musically, I think often. So yes, no, yeah, it's more landscapes than colors. I would love to play with Patti LaBelle and John Legend. Hopefully at the same time, that would be great. Those two together would be incredible. Add a little Chick Corea and Cannonball Adderley, and we got ourselves a time party. It'd be spectacular. Of American music, I would want to pick people that revolutionized early music into modern music. And so I would have to pick, you have to pick Louis Armstrong, Gershwin, Quincy Jones, and Etta James. There's a lot of honorable mentions there, and a lot of things that like change the industry in ways that I'm very interested in, and things like how Ray Charles really changed like what it means to be a musician and what it means to own your own music and what your rights are as a musician. That's really changed the game of a lot of things. James Brown and the whole funk movement just brought the idea of making your music a movement to the forefront, and there's a lot of incredible things, but those four I think are the four that should be the forefathers of my musical understanding. 30 for 2. 40 for 3. First thing that comes to mind is when my Afrobeat band Kumasi played this weekend at the Music Box with legendary Tony Allen, which means he's the drummer that played for Fela Kuti, or I guess they played for each other, but they created Afrobeat together. And to play with the originator and the person who like really had a huge hand in creating the music, and have him appreciate it and play along with it, and just the ability to be able to move around the space and have fun with the crowd, and how everyone came together with it and everyone was satisfied about it. And it was just, that was an incredible weekend. It's probably the best thing musically that I've done, and it'll be in my memory forever.